Hello, welcome back to another episode of my channel. For the first book review of 2019, I'm going to be doing a book review on Seabiscuit by Laura Hillenbrand. Laura is also the author of the book Unbroken, which I was totally all about. I read it a really long time ago, and then when the movie came out, I was like all obsessed with it. So I was really excited to come across another one of her books. I picked it up shortly after Justify won the recent 2018 Triple Crown race. And because after Justify won, I was like, oh my gosh, like that was so cool. Like, let's put on the movie Seabiscuit. So we ended up watching the movie Seabiscuit, and then like a couple weeks later, I found this book at the thrift store. So I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm totally gonna pick it up. So I started reading it right before, like the few end days of 2018, and I just finished it the other day. So let's get into it. This book, to start off, I'm just going to throw it out there. If you do not like history, if you do not like a lot of fact-driven books and stories and things like that, I don't really think that this is going to be a recommendation for you. You might just want to stick to the movie. This book, and I think Laura, I mean, I've only read two of her books, but I've kind of putting it together that I think that the author, those are the type of books that she writes. Unbroken was about World War II. Super, super, super fact-driven. It was obviously put into a very compelling story, just like Seabiscuit. But both of these books, Unbroken and Seabiscuit, very, very fact-driven. There are a ton of acknowledgments and references in both books, so I'm assuming that's her type of style. So if you get bored reading just like, you know, pretty much history, then I don't really recommend this book. It was story. I really liked it because I really do like American history to begin with, and then I love animals, so it just like worked out really well. But to start off, we pretty much, and if you've seen the movie, you can kind of put it together, but in the book, we meet the jockey, Red, his Seabiscuit's owner, the Howards, and then Smith, which eventually becomes a trainer, and then obviously Seabiscuit. So we meet like all characters, and we find out like what their life was before that they came together. So it's kind of cool to piece like where everyone was. And what I really liked is that in the beginning of the book, and for a majority, because of the racetracks, the book is set in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is where I'm from. So I like knew the racetracks that they were talking about. I knew the cities that they were talking about, even like the smallest cities. Like I've been there, obviously, but the cities, the streets, just references that they made about the Bay Area in general, I knew because I've been there. So I thought that was really cool. So that I definitely really liked. And then they eventually talk about California as a whole. And of course, like I know some of those other places, but not as much as the Bay Area, which I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, you know, reading about home type of thing. So, okay, eventually we meet all the characters and they all come together, and we just kind of learn about like the training style of Smith, and I even feel like that they gave a really great description. I feel that Laura gave a great description of Seabiscuit and his personality. I thought Seabiscuit was really, really cute, and you don't really see that in the movie. You learn a lot of stuff about, you learn a lot about Seabiscuit and his personality and like what he liked to do, how he was kind of like a little menace at sometimes. And I found myself laughing a couple times because I was thinking, oh my gosh, like this is so funny type of thing. And then I learned a lot about the jockey lifestyle, and I did not really realize like how brutal that career was back in the day, and I'm sure things have changed as we go along, but it was just really cool to learn about that whole era, like from the 20s to the 30s to the 40s. That's pretty much like the whole timeline, the 20s through the 40s. It's his Seabiscuit's whole career. They don't just take you to the Triple Crown. You read about every race that Seabiscuit has won, has lost, and his trials, his triumphs, and stuff like that. And Laura did an amazing job describing the races. I felt like my heart was pounding reading some of these races. And it's just like one time around the track, right? But like, I felt like I was there. I felt I was like, oh my gosh, like what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And like you try to read the page and finish, you know, what happens at the race and who did what, who didn't, you know, stuff like that. One of the things I've been wanting to do after reading the book, I want to see if I can find anything on YouTube. Like, I would just love to see like actual real footage of SEABISCUIT, or there are certain events, like for example, George Wolfe, who is another jockey who eventually becomes the jockey for the Triple Crown, just like the movie. But there's like they were talking about one race, and you know, another jockey tried to like push George off. If you've seen the movie, I think, is it by Disney? I don't remember. No, DreamWorks. Okay, so if you've seen the movie, yes, it's pretty much what you're gonna read is like what you see on the movie, but this goes into like 10 times more deeper into the lives of all the characters. You get to learn about other people that the movie didn't show. And I thought this was a really cool little, it's a story, but it's true and it happened. And oh my gosh, I got so emotional at the very end, like the last chapter, because SEABISCUIT dies, and like I know that he dies, but I was like, oh my god, like that's sad, you know, because you learn his whole life, and I feel like you get attached or something. But anyways, so that's that book, SEABISCUIT. Anyways, I am currently now reading Shopaholic Takes Manhattan, which I have a ton of Shopaholic Sophie Kinsella books up here, and I just wanted something like really cute and quirky and fun. But the only thing with this, I would recommend, they kind of go in order. For example, I have Shopaholic and Baby, which I read this one before this because I didn't have this one. So if you're gonna like freak out, like, oh, I need everything in order, because in this book, Becky and Luke, they are still, obviously they're boyfriend and girlfriend, and then here in this book that they're married. So, and I read this one before I read this one, so I didn't really care that they're like out of order, but if you like to go in order, I definitely would try to recommend going online and trying to get like the list of books. Well, that's the first 2019 book review for SEABISCUIT for you. This one, I'm just obviously giving you a little recap. I kind of know what's going to happen. I'm already like almost done with it, but yeah, I'm very excited to start 2019 with my new reading goals, and I can't wait to fill up more of my bookshelf.